We can start.
Yes, Swamiji. Let us start. You've started recording, right, Swamiji?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. Well, good morning here in the US and good evening in India. This is Swami Prem Vivek of Osho Amritam here in Edison, New Jersey, USA. And today we have the opportunity to have a heart-to-heart chat with Swami Satya Vedant ji. Before we go to introduce Swamiji, let's first quickly introduce Swami Paritosh. I'll ask him to say a few things and then we'll introduce Swamiji himself.
I have no introduction, so so I'm very grateful to be part of this experiment, to be able to talk to Swamiji. We all love Swami Vedanji so much, and as I was saying before, we cherish the time when he was here with us in Atlanta some time back, and so grateful to see him again. So grateful that he is here to share his wisdom and share his love with us. So, and so grateful to each one of the participant who is here, uh, so that we can have this session. This session is being recorded, and we have Swamiji's permission to share it later on, so that you can watch it again and share it with the friends who could not are unable to attend today. So, welcome Swamiji so much.
Thank you, Swamiji, for that. So today we will we'll get into the event shortly, but first let me introduce our beloved Swamiji a little bit, and so you know his background, and then we'll get into the activity, the actual chat. So Swamiji, Swami Satya Vedant ji is a PhD, University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, USA. He's an MA, PhD, MS, University of Baroda. He worked on the teaching faculty of University of California, Berkeley, USA, Cleveland State University, Cleveland, Ohio, MS University of Baroda, India. Swamiji was initiated and blessed with Osho Neo Sannyas by beloved Osho, January 1, 1975, Pune, India. Osho appointed him as Chancellor of Osho International Meditation University. Osho later renamed it as Osho Multiversity. Swami Satya Vedant has held meditation workshops around the world, including at the United Nations, the World Bank, the Pentagon, as well as at Dr. Deepak Chopra's program in San Diego, USA. He has presented in 2010 Osho's vision at the All Russia International Advaita Congress, Moscow, Russia. His recent publications include Osho, The Luminous Rebel, Life Story of a Maverick Mystic, and second one, If It Could Happen to Buddha, Why Not You? Both published by Wisdom Tree, New Delhi. So that's just a quick introduction of Swamiji. I will tell you a couple of things before we get into this event, is that this event is a heart-to-heart chat with Swamiji. I'll be asking a few questions to moderate it, and so Paritosh will be asking questions to moderate, but it will really flow very, very naturally from what Swamiji is saying. It is not an intellectual activity. It is not a question about some philosophy. So towards the end, 10 minutes, we will open up for Q&A, but that time, please be aware that the questions need to be in the 4 topics that we had published in the brochure. It has to be related with sannyas, what it means, the love affair, individual love affair with the master, awareness, and the meditation in the marketplace. The journey that we will have tonight, India time, and this morning here, is around those topics and specifically about how these things have unfolded in the life of Swami Satya Vedant ji. So we can learn from it. It should touch your heart. It will touch our heart. And that melting of a heart is necessary for us to go deeper in meditation. So please ask questions toward the end that are only related with these topics and something that will help you in your meditation, not a theoretical question. So with that, let's welcome Swamiji himself. Swamiji, welcome. Thank you very much for joining with us. We'll start the first conversation, Swamiji, with if you could share a little bit about your life until you met with Osho in brief, and then we will go from there.
First of all, I would like to bow down at the feet of Param Siddha Sadguru Osho. I would also like to express my really deep gratitude to Swami Vivek and Swami Paritosh for inviting me, and also my gratitude to all the listeners and viewers who are here present at this moment in India or abroad or in America. Please accept my gratitude and my pranam. Thank you. Um, it's a very uh, touching moment for me to speak about myself and my enormous blessings that I have received for all these years from beloved Osho. So I would make it very brief to give you kind of a historical background as to how Osho appeared in my life. So many things happened, but I'll just narrow it down very much. Before that, I have to give you a background how Osho came in my life. So in 1966, I finished my first PhD from the MS University of Baroda. And then I thought I would like to do a comparative study of Indian and Western literature. So I applied at the University of Wisconsin Medicine, and they admitted me for that program. So I took a ship from India. I traveled for 13 days to reach to Madison, Wisconsin, via Mediterranean and Italy and all that. And then while I was studying there, somebody brought to my attention there is already a program called Department of Comparative Literature. So then I got admitted in comparative literature. Now, how things happen, existentially somehow, somebody must have recommended my name, because at the University of California, Berkeley, they wanted to have a course on India or Indian literature or Indian culture. So my name was recommended. So I got an invitation from Berkeley to come and teach a course. The title of the course was The Cultural and Literary Traditions of India. It was originally for only one term, but the course became popular and I ended up teaching there for 4 years. I'm coming to my point. While I was teaching at Berkeley, when my friend came from Alberta, Canada, and he said, what's the point? You may become a professor and this and that, but what is good for India about it? I said, I don't know. He said, no, we need something for the India also. So he said, why don't you do another doctorate in education? Because Indian education system is very old, and now we have to redo it, redefine it. And it touched me. So anyway, I came to University of Michigan, Ann Arbor, and I was admitted in the program of education, and I did my second PhD in education in 1973. At the time when I was studying for my PhD in education, I not only read Osho's books, but I heard Osho's discourse on Mahavir. In Hindi, it was called Mahavir Meri Drishti Mein, Mahavir in my view. And it touched me so immensely that I had only one strong urge feeling that I must go and see him. At that time, he was known as Bhagavan Shri Rajneesh. So I just wanted to go and touch his feet and have his darshan. But then I had to finish it. I finished the PhD in 1973. Then I got a job as a director of institutional research in Chicago City Colleges. And then I made some money, saved some money, and ultimately I arrived in Pune on 10th January 1975. I just want to make a correction. It will come right now. So I met Ma Yoga Lakshmi, with whom I had a correspondence anyway. So on the 11th, next day, I first went to listen to Osho's discourse. He was speaking on Kabir. It was in Hindi, Gunge Keri Sarkara. And you cannot believe this, but it is a fact that while he was speaking, there was a very small group of people upstairs in his house, and I was crying. He was speaking, and I was crying, and I couldn't understand why this crying is happening, what's happening, no reason, no nothing else. And still, for an hour and a half, he kept on speaking, I kept on crying. Then he got up, he left. I was just wondering. And then somebody said, come, Ma Lakshmi is calling you in her office. I said, all right. So I went to Ma Lakshmi and she said, so Bhaiya, so tonight you are going to have a darshan. And I just jumped because I had not expected that I will get a chance so soon. So she said, you just be there at Laos to get and in the evening at the satsang at Sannyas celebration. So that first darshan, I'm going to describe you very briefly. Um, I was seated very near on his left side, near his feet, and on the right side there was Mataru and other sannyasins. So he was having a little chat with them. How are they? How is their mother's health and so on. And then he came down to me and looked at me and he said, in a very sweet voice, I cannot copy it and I will not copy it. But even the honey is not as sweet as his voice was. So smooth, so silky, so smooth. So he just said, "हाँ तो कुछ कहना है? Would you like to say something?" And I tell you, I don't know what I blabbered, I don't know what I said, but I screamed. It was such a loud scream, and I fell at his feet and started crying like hell. And I just kept on saying to him, Bhagwan, please don't leave me again now. Bhagwan, ab aap mujhe kabhi na chhode. Bhagwan, please don't me leave again now. And he kept on saying, no, 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 I'm not going to leave you now. Now I'm going to be always with you. I'll be with you in Chicago also. So I was so much blessed by that moment. That and then as I looked at him, his presence was so glorious, magnanimous. It was like a lightning. It's like a phenomenon. You cannot put it into words. Amazing. But anyway, he just said, "So would it be okay for you to have in white clothes?" I don't know what he's asking, what he wanted to do. At that time, out of compassion, he used to give sannyas in white clothes as well for those people who are working in jobs like myself, teaching or whatever. In order to be comfortable for them, out of compassion, he would give sannyas in white clothes and also in orange clothes also. But those he gave in white clothes, they were known as sadhu. So my first name is Sadhu Satya Vedant. So he gave my name Sadhu Satya Vedant, and then looking at me very mischievously said, "But you will have to come back to Orange very soon. It's not going to last for long." I was simply saying, "Yes, Bhagwan, whatever you are saying is okay." So my first sannyas initiation happened at that moment, and then I was just and seated there at his feet. And then he said, "Now you come back after 5 days, and I'll give you a meditation." At that moment, a British lady was going to go back to England. So Osho asked Manisha to teach her the prayer meditation, Prarthana Dhyan. So she taught him. And he asked me, Vedant, you do that, Prarthana Dhyan. So I also did that. My body was vibrating. I almost fell unconscious. And then I heard him say, "Come back, Vedant, come back. It was very good, very good. Badi jaldi deep mein chale jaoge. You'll go deep very fast. Come back, come back." And so I got up. Then Osho, I don't know. That was my first darshan of Osho's. And at that moment, I was so blessed and so blissed out. Rather not blessed, just blissed out. So and then it was a 10 days meditation camp at that time in Pune. And so I went to Mahalakshmi. I said, "Ma, I am here for next few days. Is there anything I can do as a service?" Please ask me. She said, "What would you like?" I said, "I would like to translate Osho's books from Hindi to English." "All right. Which book?" And I said, "I would like to translate Osho's discourses on the Bhagavad Gita." She said, "All right." So she made an arrangement, made a desk and chair and all that. And I translated about 15 to 20 pages of Bhagavad Gita. She gave them to Osho to look at also. I'll come back to it. And so in that sense, I spent some time. And then on the second darshan, that was after 5 days. So as I came close to him again, whenever I would touch his feet, the only thing he would say, "Just leave everything to me. Just leave everything to me. Don't worry about anything. Just leave everything to me. Everything will be fine. Just leave everything to me." And I couldn't say anything. So at that moment, the first thing he said was, "Your translation has come out very well. Now, this is your word. You translate my books from Hindi to English and English to Hindi. That is your word. And you help people in the press office." And then he said that, "You remember the meditation that you did last time, the prayer meditation? That is your meditation, okay? That you're doing." And then he said, "And you take notes when I'm giving discourse, you take notes and write a book on me." I was just looking at him amazingly, how to write a book on him. And then he said, and the book should be 350 pages. And I said, okay, what else can I say? And then he said, and you find a publisher in America, you will find. And even if they don't publish in America, we'll publish it here in India. No, 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 no. You will find a publisher in America and it will sell very well. So I'll come to that in a minute. That was my second darshan at that time. And then many things happened. I'll skip to that. And then I had my last darshan at the end on the 10th, and that was my blessing that I had from him. I came back to Chicago from India. In the train, I was crying. In the plane, I was crying. I was missing him so much. And when I reached Chicago, I wanted to write so much that this is happening, this is happening. So at that time, there used to be inland letters, if you remember. So I wrote a letter, and every nook and corner I wrote whatever I could write, and I sent it to him. For a month and a half, I did not receive any answer. After month and a half, I received an answer in one line. I'll translate that in English, but first I will say in Hindi. He said, प्रवाह में बहते हुए सूखे पत्ते की तरह बहो. Float like a dry leaf in a stream. That's the translation. Float like a dry leaf in a stream. That was his message for me in one line answer to my question. So I was in Chicago from say 1976 to until 1976. Then from 76 to 79, I came to San Francisco. And then I was a dean in California Institute of Asian Studies. And in 79, I got a message from Pune that now you come back to Pune. Bhagwan would like you to be here in Pune. So I came back to Pune in 1979. First time when I touched his feet, he said, now you just give your time in press office and you just write a book and my translation. And that was and he appointed me as a chancellor of at that time it was known as Rajneesh International Meditation University. He then renamed it as Osho Multiversity. And he appointed me and he said, you know what, you just go and sit down in each group. There used to be about 100 groups at that time running in Pune commune. And he said, you just sit there and observe and then let me know whatever comes to your observation. And then sometimes he would invite the group leader or other people and he would have a chat. Otherwise, he would never interfere in the whole work. He would have nothing to do with it. So I just remained there. And at that time, once the situation happened that in Nashik is very close to Pune. It's a religious place. A lot of people go to Nashik. So in Nashik, there used to be a lecture series. And from there, an invitation came that they would like to know about Bhagwan Rajneesh and his vision, what he's talking about. We want to hear that. So Lakshmi brought that to Osho's attention. Osho said, ask Vedant to go and speak. Ask Vedant to go there. So Swami Satya Vedant, he drove me from Pune to Nashik. And it was a very big ground. It was an open air theater. Almost 3,000 people are seated there. So I spoke whatever I could understand or whatever I want to share. And then as I sat down on a chair, some people surrounded me for me to write an autograph or something. And I couldn't realize what was going on. A whole group of people were shouting, abusing me and abusing Bhagwan and Osho also, and came to hurt me, the whole group. The organizers realized that something is wrong. So they took my hand and they took me inside a room and locked. And they stood there and they said, you are not going to touch him. If you want to say anything against him, this platform will be available for you tomorrow to speak. And so that was the end of that. 79 to 81, I was in Pune at that moment. And then at 81, Osho had to come to America. He had a back trouble. He used to have a pain. So the doctors invited him to come to Connecticut or New York for a treatment. So he came to New York in 81. Now, since he left, slowly people began to leave also. So I also came back to California. I was there. I became a advisor to some institution and so on and so forth. And then suddenly in 1982, a call came from Rajneeshpuram because in 1981, Rajneeshpuram was established. Rajneeshpuram was established in the state of Oregon. Oregon is the northwest corner of America. In the middle of Oregon, there was 64,000 acre land. It was almost 126 square miles. Not a single blade of grass, all barren, completely barren land. And it was bought at that time. And the city was built up in 3 years. That Rajneeshpuram was built up in just 3 years. Everything was there. There was a post office, there was a fire brigade, there were Air Rajneesh Airlines, 13 airplanes, there was a hotel Rajneesh, malls, you name it, bookstores and all that. Anyway, so as I was there in California in '82, a call came to me, come back, come to Rajneeshpuram right away, come right now. So I resigned again from my position and I arrived in Rajneeshpuram. And Sheila was the secretary. So she said, Bhagwan wants to see you. And I was so excited. Just the next day, so as he was seated in a small room, I went, touched his feet. And the first sentence was, I missed you. I was waiting for you. And I simply you cannot imagine how I must have felt. The master saying, I missed you, I was waiting for you. And then he said, now just continue your work here and have whatever you want. Just let Sheila know and so on and so forth. So now 82 to almost 85, I was in Rajneeshpuram. All kinds of things were happening there. And then in 85, of course, the federal and the state government were against Osho and the commune anyway. They wanted to dismantle the commune, and they succeeded in that. And in that, again, the whole story, as you know, how they tortured Osho, how they imprisoned him for without any reason, not giving him any bail, not giving him any reason why he's being imprisoned, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, then Osho came to India, and then he went on a world tour. And after the 21 days of one tour, he came again to Pune in 1987. In 1987, he again started, thousands of people came and being around him and with him. And in 1989, I got a message again when I was back in California to come immediately. And the message was, it is already late, come immediately, come right now, come immediately. So I immediately resigned my position and I flew back to Pune. I arrived in 1989. And as in the evening satsang darshan, I touched at his feet, and I just did my pranam, I touched his feet, and he says, now drown yourself completely in my work. Don't leave a single trace of yours. Now there is no more birth for you. Enough is enough. Now you can imagine the whole emphasis was drown yourself completely in my work. Totality was his message. Just be total here. And he says, now this is your home. Now this is your family. Now you be here. So 1989, and then of course, as you all know, Osho left his body in 1990. At that time, I was blessed that he had named 4 people to carry his body at the cremation ground. I was one of the 4 to carry his body to the cremation ground. So this was until 1990. And then, of course, I was in Pune commune, and then my travels began and so on and so forth. My point is that it has been an immensely touching experience for me and to be at the full feet of the Master and to receive his blessings and to receive his love from him so much. Thank you very much. This is briefly, I can say, until 1975, 11 January 1975 to about 1990. Thank you very much. Thank you. Any questions?
Wow, Swamiji. It's a blessing to have a life like that where you are so closely lived with Osho and his direction, his presence, his blessings. You know, as I heard you saying these things, it just connected with my feelings, and I was going through so many different feelings.
Yes.
One question I'll have, Swamiji, is,
yes.
You know, we know that a disciple doesn't choose a master. It is the master that chooses the disciple. And clearly in your case, looks like he kept calling you back again and again.
Yes.
And he knew to call you. Can you talk about your own internal experience about that feeling?
Well, let me tell you, Swamiji, one thing. Among the Sufis, they have a saying that when the disciple is ready, the master appears. That's what the Sufis believe. So maybe that was the right moment. But again, may I say one thing that I remember now that I'm talking to you, that once when he was having some little chat with some sannyasins, he did say, and I was told that, I was reported, that this is not the first time that Vedant is with me. He has been with me even before. So what I'm trying to say is that there is always a master-disciple uh, uh, link is always there. All our relationships are all accidental. Mother, father, husband, wife, brother, sister, they're all accidental, except the relation, the love affair, the love bondage that exists between master and disciple is a continuity. He must have been my master, your master, Swamiji's master, even in the past lives also. So he is in Hindi is called a silsila. There is a whole tradition, there's a whole link of the master and disciple, and that's why I feel that whenever I saw him, it felt as if I was with him even before. And so in his expressions also, he gave me the feeling that this is not the first time that I'm with him. When I was at the Pune ashram or when I was at Rajneeshpuram, each time his glance, his looking at me was again with the same message to me that this is not the first time that you are here with me. You have been with me before. So my point is that yes, you are right that to have a master, one needs to have a kind of a linkage. So you and I, we all must have been with him in some commune. There was a commune. I have written in my book. There used to be a commune in Tibet 700 years ago. He had a commune at that time. And that time also people were against him and so on and so forth. So what I want to share is that you are absolutely right. This is something that a link continues between the master and the disciple. And this is the greatest love affair, as Osho says. All our love experiences are either momentary, temporary. They're just like a bargain type. You love me, I love you. Don't love me, I don't love you. But masters and disciple love is the ultimate crescendo. Osho calls it is the crescendo of love. So I feel in that sense very blessed that I received that love so enormous, and still at this very moment, his love is showering on me. That much I can tell you very honestly, very humbly. That's what I can say. Thank you, Swamiji.
Swamiji, in that sentence that you talked about, let's extend that. So why is it a love affair with the master? We haven't heard that from any of the past traditions, especially past sannyas tradition of India. Osho has said the relationship between master and disciple is an individual love affair. Why is it so
Yes.
strong and what is for you? What does that mean for you?
Well, the first thing is that it's an energy phenomenon. It is not a mental connection. I have experienced it. It is a relationship of no relationship. It is a contact where there is no expectation from either side. Neither the master has any expectation from the disciple, nor can disciple have any expectation from the master. It's a non-expectant way of expressing one's gratitude. You see, there are only two ways that a disciple can connect with the master. What are the two ways? Attitude and gratitude. Attitude shows the attitude of surrender, total surrender, totality. That is the attitude. That whatever can happen to me, I am willing to give that. I am not going to hide back. I'm not going to hold back anything. My total surrender is there at the feet of the master. And because master's blessings, because of his help, his guidance, the way he shows me the path, I feel gratitude towards him. I'm very grateful. Uh, there is no way that you can describe how that relationship is. Even words will fail. Oftentimes in the Urdu poetry, people have tried to express it. I will just say something in Hindi and then translate that if you don't mind. He says that Sab dharti kagas karun. I may turn the whole earth into a paper, writing paper. Sab dharti kagas karun, kalam karu ban rai. And I turned all the trees in the forest into writing pen, into writing pencil or pen. Kalam karu ban rahi, saat samandar ki masi karu. I may turn all the oceans into a ink. And if I want to write about my master, about him, his glory, I will fail to write. I will not have enough space, enough material for me to write. That is the feeling. That how can you express in words? It's a love affair, but love affair not of expectation, love affair of gratitude, a complete total gratitude for accepting you as a disciple. That's all I can say in terms of my relationship with the master. And that's why uh, 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 Kabir used to say that "Sis kataya guru mile, to bhi sasta jan." Even if you have to cut your head, even if you have to die to have a master, consider that was a very cheap bargain you got it. It bada saste mein, but it was a cheap bargain.
That's so wonderful. I think we lost the connection with Swamiji. So we'll pause for a second. I will have one more question and then Paritosh Swamiji, then you could ask a few more from your side and turn it back to me. Let's figure out what's going on here.
Swamiji should be back soon. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes, Swamiji.
Is Swamiji back?
Yeah, he should be. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Shall I continue?
Oh,
yes, yes, Swamiji, you are here now. Okay.
Yeah, we had lost the connection for a second, Swamiji. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So, Swamiji, thank you for that expression of gratitude as the basis for that love relationship. I have one more question before I turn it over to Swami Paritosh to, ask a few questions. Swamiji, you talked about that the master relationship with the disciple is not just one life. You talked about that you had probably presence of you and Swami Osho in Tibet 700 years ago that Osho has talked quite a bit about. Swamiji, a natural question that may arise for Osho sannyasins and lovers is that now that Osho is not in the body, how does he guide us, continue to guide us? Would you please talk about that?
Yes. Now, we have always looked at the reality from an intellectual point of view, because we need to have a logical explanation to give some answer. This is the only connection that we have, the relation, if you would like to call, where the mind and the logic doesn't work. Only the feeling and the love works. The guidance comes from his lovingness. You must have experienced sometimes, Swamiji, sometimes you feel that your mother is suggesting you something and she is not there physically, or your father is suggesting and he is not there physically, but inside you feel she's telling you, this is much better, don't do this, or better do this. If it can happen in our small this life, imagine what must be happening in the life of a Buddha, of a great spiritual master. So it's an energy phenomenon, Swamiji. It is not an intellectual phenomenon. And if you're open, that the only situation is if you're open and receptive, only then it will happen. Otherwise, it won't happen. You have to be receptive. You have to be open, and you have to be willing to be available to him. Yes, master. If this is what it is, yes, so be it. That acceptance, that total acceptance, is all that matters. Then his guidance works for you. Otherwise, it doesn't.
That's right, Swamiji. I remember Osho saying, it is not a question of if I'm available to you or not. I am available. The question is, are you available to me?
That's right.
That's the real question.
Yes.
But Swamiji, I'll hand over to you for asking a few questions and then hand it over to me as well.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Vivek. Swamiji, one question is that now since Osho left his body, all of us is a commune of one or a commune of family. Things are all spread out everywhere across the world. In this time and for the future, how do you define sannyas? What does sannyas mean now?
Well, sannyas has 3 dimensions. The first dimension is meditation, because that is the foundation of sannyas. And meditation here is not just simply activity as a meditation. Meditative awareness has to be grown within us. Then you are a sannyas. The very word sannyas, Swamiji, is a Sanskrit word. If you break it in Sanskrit, it comes some nest, everything dropping. You're dropping. The old concept of sannyas was to drop everything, drop family, drop job, drop home, everything like. Osho says no, that is not right. If you really want to drop, then drop your mind, because it is the mind which holds to everything. Things do not just come like that, because mind holds to it. That's why you are caught up into it. And you are saying, I'm dropping my car, I'm dropping my refrigerator, I'm dropping my home. Doesn't matter. Your mind is still holding on to it. So mind has to be dropped. Man ke jeete jeete hai, man ke haare haar. That's what the Kabir says. That he used to say कि मन को जिसने जीता, who has won who has become the master of the mind, he is a sannyasi. Right now, mind is the master. The sannyasi, first of all, is in charge of the mind. He uses the mind, but he does not allow the mind to use him or her. That is the first thing. Meditation, awareness, not holding on to anything. Second thing about sannyas is that he would like to have a kind of camaraderie, friendship, friendliness, not expecting anything, but being together in a very friendly, loving environment. That is all a sannyasi is all about. Because he's not expecting anything. Even if you may not look at him, even then his lovingness will continue to flow at you. It is not going to stop. So in that sense, a community is created. A sannyasin creates a community of lovers, friendships, friends, and not asking this or that, not exchanging something, not expecting anything from each other. Not at all. That is the second part. And the third part is that a sannyasin is always available to carry on master's message wherever. And it's very interesting that people are receptive, people are looking for it. You must have come across so many people who wanted to know about sannyas, who want to know about Osho and so on and so forth. But one has to be willing to do that. That kind of readiness has to be there. Osho tells one story I shared with you, Swami Paritosh. In Buddha's time, there was his disciple called Shrona. So one day, Bhagwan Buddha says, Shon, you have finished your work, everything is fine. Now you just go and spread my word and make people more aware and awaken them. Just go. So he was not willing to, because he said, no, Bhagwan, I want to stay at your feet. He said, no, this is not you have to do. So as he was leaving, Buddha just asked him a question. He said, Shron, suppose you are going out. You know how people are against me, they don't like me. Suppose if they start abusing you, what would you do? So Shona said, well, I would say, thank you. At least they're abusing me. They're not hurting me. That's okay. That's not a problem. Buddha said, suppose if they start hurting you, if they start throwing stones at you. So he said, that's also okay. At least if they are not breaking my legs or my limbs or something. Buddha said, suppose if they break your limbs or your legs and hands, what would you do? He said, it doesn't matter. At least I would say they have not killed me. And Buddha said, and Shona, suppose if they kill you. And Shona said, Bhagavan, what better death can there be? Bringing your message to the people and giving my life for it. What the best beautiful death can there be? Yes. I would welcome that death also. That kind of a surrender, that kind of a totality is what sannyas is all about. Sannyas means totality. Whatever you are doing, whichever we are doing, it should be complete. Because mind does not allow you to do that. Mind always creates interference. It brings your own conditionings. And that conditioning has to be overcome. Transcendence. Sannyas means neither accepting nor rejecting, but transcending. Normally, our religious people say, no, you don't do this, you don't drink coffee, you don't do this, you do this, and you do this. But Osho would say, no, transcend all that. No duality. This life is made of duality. And in duality, the mind is always confined. My answer to you, Swami Paritosh, is that sannyas is it's a pilgrimage. It's a pilgrimage. It has a beginning, but it has no end. It is not that at a certain age, at a certain point, my sannyas is over, so now I can go and jump around. No, not like that. It's an endless thing. It's a pilgrimage. The whole sannyas is a pilgrimage, and that is the joy of it. and the pilgrimage joyfully, celebratingly, not as a work, not as a job, but as a joy, as a joyful experience of being part of the pilgrimage. And a pilgrimage, which is a path that has been shown by the greatest, one of the greatest, the great proud master of masters, Osho himself, the master of masters. That's what I feel sannyas all about.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. That was a very different view on sannyas, which transcends the time that when Osho was in the body and now. So this, what the way you define sannyas is like in eternity. The way it has nothing bound to when Osho was there. It was different. You define what
Yes.
sannyas is. So very grateful for that answer. We are very short of time, Sanjay, but I want to hit some questions that, like the sannyas question, that is so relevant to each one of us who is seeker and listening to this conversation. One of the topic for this conversation was meditation in the marketplace. And by marketplace, I don't mean the mall or something. I mean the work as well. So would you like to say something about it and how to keep that balance? Even there are many stressful situations for work for everybody, and many times they miss that and they get carried away in that. So can you say something about the essence of how to keep meditation in the marketplace?
Yeah. Three dimensions we can look at it. The first thing is that we have to face the reality. The first reality is that we have to take care of our body. We have to take care of ourselves. And in order to take care of ourselves, we have to do some work. Work in the sense that will support the body, whether by money or whatever it is. The first responsibility is towards the body. That is the first thing is. So in the marketplace, in the place where you're working, it is a means because it supports my body to survive and to function and to meditate and to do whatever I want to do. That first thing is. Second thing is that it is my choice how much I want to involve in the marketplace and how much I don't want to. Nobody is going to force me. If I don't have to, I won't. But my choice is the greatest blessing for me. This choice is not available to animals and birds. They don't have any choice because they're all programmed. That's the only way they can be. But I can be differently. I can find a different way of doing it, different methods of doing it. I can make whatever choices I want because I'm available to have a creative way of living in my life. So the second thing is that is reality also is there. And the third thing is that Osho has taught us, why can we not just observe and be a witness, whatever is happening? And that's the word that I'm sure you know, Sakshi, a witnessing consciousness. It is the consciousness that makes the choices. If your consciousness is clear what it is and what it is not, then that nothing matters. Then nothing simply matters. And one has to be part. That's why Osho says, be in the world, but don't let the world inside you. And that's a very big pilgrimage on our part. To be in the world. And he has used in a very poetic way, Swamiji, you must have known, how to be like a lotus in a mud. Yes, of course, lotus has to grow, but it is growing from the mud. Of course, we have all around nothing but dirt, but what to do? That's how it is. And that is where the sannyas, that is where meditation, that's what spiritual work makes a difference. That allows you to grow out of that mud and become a lotus flower. And that's the beauty of it. And that's the beauty of it.
Wonderful, Swamiji. One last question about you talked about that Osho asked you to write the biography. Can you briefly talk about it, the biography, and where can people get it?
Okay, sure.
Because there are so many things about Osho that what people know is what they read in on Wikipedia, and which is like only a drop of the whole picture. Can you please briefly?
Okay. Let me tell you one thing. First of all, when Osho said write a book on me, now I did not have any idea what book, how to write it. I didn't even know anything about him. Anyway, I came to San Francisco. I went to this Harper and Row publisher. There was this lady called Mary Kentlin. And I said, I want to have this book published. She said, yes, of course, but we would like to have his biography. I said, my God, biography is not, I want to write, no, because we don't know anything about him and he was certainly new at that time. We would like you to write a biography. I said, okay. She said, not okay. We want to make as an official letter from your commune that you are an official biographer, only then. So I wrote back to Lakshmi. Lakshmi must have talked to Osho. I got a letter that yes, he is the official biographer. That's how I started writing his biography. My first biography was published by Harper and Row. It was a paperback. The title was The Awakened One, The Life and Work of Bhagwan Sri Rajneesh. That was a paperback. It is now out of print. But most of the material that I wrote there, I have included in my second book, The Luminous Rebel. Now, about the biography, let me tell you a couple of things. First thing is that I had a wonderful opportunity of having a chat with his parents, with Dadaji, his father, with Mataji, his mother, his uncle, and his boyhood friends, relatives. I had a wonderful chat with them, and I got a lot of material after having chit chat. And then what happened was, it was in 79 or 80. I went to in the evening satsang. I said, Bhagwan, I am writing your biography. So should I not go and visit Gadarwara and Kuchwara and all this place? And you know what he said? No need to go. Everything is here. There's no need to go. Everything is here. He didn't allow me to go anywhere. Everything is here. So I had to just sit down in the office, and I just wrote the second part in 1983. It was published by Wisdom Press here. Now the point is that this biography is something that I was able to be to narrate it because I have personally seen many of the things that were mentioned here. And of course, there are so many resource materials that also made available to me and his parents and all that they helped me out. And at one point, I remember so sweet. I was having a chat with Mataji, and she was so sweet. She just said, you know what? On the one hand, he is my guru, but he's also my son. How can I forget? वो मेरे गुरु है वो मेरा बेटा भी तो है. I said yes, of course, why not? She was so much filled with that feeling that yes, because she had taken sannyas. His father also had taken. This is the only exception in the history where parents have taken sannyas from their son, or they have become disciples of their son. Jesus' mother did Maryam, but there was the only exception. But otherwise, this is the only second time that this has happened. My point is that it was such a joy for me to go through all different, and there's so many, and the childhood ways that he grew up, the pranks that he played, the mischief that he did, the playfulness that he had, and the way that he all brought together people from all different parts of the world at one point in one platform was amazing, absolutely amazing. At one point at Pune, Swamiji, there used to be people from almost 80 different countries. Can you believe that? 80 different countries. He's writing 650 books, thousands of discourses. He answered 13,000 questions in his lifetime. Can you believe that? And this all that has happened in his only just a short span of time. So, and I mentioned that in my biography. The biography writing was more like my own, I should say, my own way of looking at myself in my own growing way. It helped my growth as well at the same time. That was all I can say. And I'm so utterly grateful to him, gratitude that he asked me to write a book on me. Otherwise, I have written other books also, but that book was the one that came about because he just simply said, write a book on me, and said, and it should be 350 pages. My God. And it did come out 350 pages.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. Vivek, you can, I think we may have to go a little bit over time because we are already 10 minutes are left. We may have to go a little over drive, looks like.
It looks like
Okay.
I have one question that is, I think is very relevant for all the seekers. So I will ask, and Swamiji, if you can be brief about that one so that we save the time for other people to ask questions. But this is a burning question. So in our journey,
Yeah.
We are developing awareness, and that is the test in the that's the meditation in the workplace or meditation in the marketplace. Swamiji, can you help us with your own life example, how you have continued to grow your awareness and how Master has helped? If you could do that, please.
Okay. It's a very good question. The first thing is, Swamiji, that if you really are available, receptive, and connected to the Master, the most significant thing that happens is he gives you clarity. Osho has given me moment-to-moment clarity, Swamiji. Everything that has happened to me has come out, if it has happened well, it has come out because he showed me this is the way. Now, this is the way. Because the mind can befool you, but the master's guidance is the only guidance that can help you. That's why in Shiv Sutra, there is one statement, it's known as Guru Paya. Guru is the only device. Guru is the only way. Guru is the only path. There is no other way that you can find. So the first thing is that in my being at this feet, the first thing that gave me clarity. The second thing is, as I mentioned to you, when he says, be total, drown yourself completely in my word, totality. Mind doesn't want to be total. It wants to find a scapegoat, excuses, this and that. It doesn't want you to go deeper into it because it's a hassle. Not only hassle, it requires a lot of courage. People are going to make fun of you. They're going to, say something else. You have to face all that. In fact, it is said only one who has a lot of courage should go into this path as well. Don't worry. Kabir used to say, Kabira khada bazaar mein, liye lokatiyat. Kabira is standing in the marketplace with a lut, with a big stick in his hand. Those who want to break their head, come to me, otherwise go and have fun. Don't come close to me. Go again. So that is the reality. If you are ready to give everything, including your life and your totality, that matters. So my experience, clarity, totality. And third thing is, Swamiji, I learned how to be grateful, gratitude. And I must say that every moment to moment, how can I say that? Because every moment I've experienced that. And it has come like a miracle. I'm not trying to make it sound like very poetic and all that. Really, things have happened which can only way I can put miracle. And so I said, not miracle, your blessing, your grace. Your grace has happened there. So this is all I feel that. And it has been my experience all along my life. Like 45 years, so 1975, 76 to 2020. This is my experience.
So beautiful, Swamiji. That will continue to guide us as we are in the same path like you are and seek the blessing of the Master. With that, we will now open it for question and answer. Please ask your question by raising a hand. And please keep it short and keep it very relevant so that we learn something for our own journey around those 4 topics. So first one comes, I believe on the top is Seth. So we're going to unmute you in a second. Okay, there you are.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Thank you for taking the time.
Thank
I have not yet taken sannyas, but I feel like I'm living this life already. And I am curious always for myself how to spread Osho's message as far and deeply into people as I can. And related to sannyas, you spoke about the 3 dimensions and meditation being one. And I think in the beginning, maybe I said, okay, meditation for myself was one of the most primary things. But I'm feeling like you spoke about about how our mothers and fathers, even if they've passed, they can still speak to us, just as Osho can as well. And for me, the transmissions I've received are to spread meditation as far as I can to people, especially in this time of great uncertainty and stress in the world, and as we shift into this new spiritual, more spiritually integrated form of humanity, and living more authentically. How best can we as a community do this to affect as many people as possible, would you recommend?
Let me make a couple of things very clear to you. Osho has never believed or asked us to be a religious writer. As a converting anyone, proselytizing. Never.
Oh.
He says, your life itself should be the way for people to know, now this is the way to live. Your living should show, not your talk, not your lectures. There are thousands of people, they give lectures, don't do this, don't do that, do this, and people just live according to their own conditioning and their patterns, their behaviors and all. That doesn't work. But if they see somebody living that, if you are loving, they can notice it, that you are a very loving person. Even if it's a little small little bird or little tree, you still will go and hug the tree and show the lovingness. What I'm saying is that his first insistence was, are you living it, first of all? The living it is the more important. I tell you one thing, I have shared this story before. In the evening satsang, one sannyasin got up and he said that Bhagavan, he said that in our Indian system, in our culture, there are three debts that are asked to fulfill. One debt is, of course, mother, is we are indebted to mother. She gives birth, she raises us, she's very big blessing on us. Mother, we are indebted to mother. Father, he takes care of us, he looks after us, he gives us security. We are indebted to father. And the third person is the guru, is the master. He takes care of every level, physical, material, emotional, psychological, spiritual, name it. So he says, Bhagavan, perhaps we can pay the debt to our parents by serving them. How do we pay our debt to our master? What do we do? And Bhagavan Osho just smiled very beautifully and said, just live what I'm telling you, and your debt is paid. Don't even wait to thank me. Just go ahead. Just live what I'm telling you. So, Swamiji, what I'm asking you is that don't worry about converting, teaching, telling people this. No. Yes, you can make available yourself. You can make, okay, maybe you might want to read this book, maybe you want to hear this discourse, maybe. If not, that's perfectly okay, fine. And if there is any way I can be of any help, but I'm not going to impose any idea that this is Osho's, so you do this, otherwise, you are going to hell or nothing of that kind. Nothing of that kind. He simply did not believe in that. So Swamiji, my request to you is that you simply bring whole energy to your awareness, own awareness. Just become more aware of your unawareness. And that itself be a message to the person looking at you. Now, this is the way to be. He became aware of his own unawareness. And that's a big challenge because we are so clever in finding excuses. We do live in unawareness, but we also find excuses, and we just get away with that. So at one point it so happened, I have shared this story before. One time a teacher was giving a lecture on Jesus Christ. So after speaking for 1 whole hour of Jesus Christ, it was Friday afternoon. So she said, okay, children, if I ask you one question, and if you answer correctly, I'll let you go home and enjoy, and there'll be a gift for you. So they said, okay. So she asked Sally, she was America, who was the greatest man who has ever walked on the surface of earth? He said, of course, Abraham Lincoln, the greatest man was ever. Yeah, that's true, but that's not the answer I was waiting for. She asked Linda, she was in Great Britain, well, what do you think, Linda? She said, Sir Winston Churchill, the greatest man who has ever walked on the surface of earth. She said, yeah, that is true. That's not the answer. Then she looked at Ramesh, she was from India. Ramesh, what do you say? Who was the greatest man to have walked? He said, of course, Mahatma Gandhi, the greatest man who has ever. She said, yeah, that is true, I agree with you, but that's not the answer I was waiting for. Finally, Billy was raising, he said, madam, ask me. And she said, okay, Billy, what do you say? He said, of course, Jesus Christ. He was the greatest man who has ever walked on the surface of earth. She said, yes, this is the answer I was waiting for. Come here. Now you can go home, enjoy your weekend, and here is a box of chocolates for you as a gift. So as he was walking out, she called him back. She said, Billy, come here. Tell me, aren't you Jewish? He said, yes, madam, I am Jewish. So she said, should you not have said Moses was the greatest man who has ever walked? So he said, madam, deep down in my heart, I know Moses was the greatest man who has walked ever on. But business is business. When it comes out, the business is business. That is my excuse. So I said, okay, doesn't matter. Okay, Jesus Christ. So Jesus Christ. This is how the mind plays the game. You know, in our conditioned mind, we always go through certain patterns, certain behavior patterns, how we have been conditioned from the childhood. Remember one thing, when a child is born, the child is only born as a physical entity, as a biological entity. He doesn't have mind yet, okay, only body. When he's hungry, he will have milk, and once have milk, he'll go to sleep. But he would not say that every day you are giving me milk, mom, sometimes you give me some kheer or something also, but he doesn't have that mind or that choice. And then we start making a mind. Now this is your mama, and this is your daddy, and you have to touch their feet, and this is the temple, and you have to go and touch your feet. And that's how we make a whole mind. The relatives, the friends, the religion, the spiritual teachers, masters, this, that, all your education, they make a whole mind. And we are absolutely caught up into this mind, in this conditioned mind. Unless you become aware of this conditioned mind, there's nothing you can do that can help the other person how to be. The issue is not what to do or what not to do. The issue is how to be and how not to be. That is the issue. Because what to do, not to do is all very circumstantial. Sometimes you can do, sometimes you may not do it. So what can you do? What can you do? Doing is not important. Being, Osho says, being is important. And people are interested more on doing. Doing is not important. How are you? I always share this story also that in Tehran, there was one young man who was going to visit a Sufi master. So he was very excited. He was dressing up and all that. So his room partner said, "Why are you so excited? What's the big deal? What is he going to give you?" He said, "I'm not going to get something from. I'm just going to see him how he ties and unties his shoelaces. How he ties and unties. Just his presence, just his silence, just his non-mechanical way of tying and just I'm just going to go and see that. Just seeing that will show me how to be. How to be. This is the way to be. And not the way that I've been taught, I've been programmed, I've been conditioned to be. That is more important. So my feelings, Swamiji, in short, is if your life itself will become an example. You don't have to go and teach people. And people can get it. They get the point. And even if they don't get it, that is their business, that's their freedom. We don't have to worry about it. We are not here in charge to change people. We have to change ourselves. That is the most important challenge, changing oneself. Thank you. I hope it's okay with you.
Yeah. Swamiji, on a similar question that was asked in Atlanta, exactly similar. I remember one thing you mentioned that I still remember so well. You mentioned that Osho says, "Be the message, not the messenger."
Yes, yes, yeah. Uh, um, what happens is that many people read Osho's books or listen to him and they copy it and they just repeat it, but they don't give him credit. So oftentimes that has happened. I tell you two stories, very funny story. There was one sannyasi, he went to see in his religious teacher. I'm not going to name the religious teacher. So this religious teacher had a huge book in his lap and it looked like he was reading. So this sannyasin just waited for a few seconds and he just looked at it and he saw that in that huge book, there was Osho's book that he was reading. So he naturally he said, oh, it's interesting that you also read Osho's books. So the teacher said, yes, I'm just looking at it, how many mistakes he has made in his book. He's not going to admit that he's actually reading a book. So people have done that. So at this time, at some time, people come to Osho and say, Osho, they take words from you, but they don't give you. At that time, Osho said, the man is not important, the message is. It is the message that is important. And those who are listening to this man, they will realize that this thing cannot come from this man. This must have come from somewhere else. So they will come looking for me. So they are doing my job. Don't worry about it. Let them take it. Let them take it. Allow them to take it. Don't worry about it. So the man is not important. The message is important. So your message will be more important, not what you did or what you told or what you explained to them.
Shravan, you have to unmute.
Namaskar, Swami Vedant ji. Thank you very much for sharing your experiences and making yourself available, for us. I have my question is a little lengthier. So Buddha has three sayings like Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, Dhammam Sharanam Gacchami, and Sangham Sharanam Gacchami. So you're very fortunate to experience all three, when Master is in his body, and also to experience the commune and his teachings, right? So we never had that opportunity, and all we know Osho was through books and videos. And so how shall we apply these three sayings? Actually, the reason I'm asking this was, after this COVID, when we started this online meditation, that's where I could go very deep into my experiences, and it's really helping me in my meditations. So I feel like I'm taking rescue in the Osho commune, who were not available before. Maybe a few times in a year we used to meet, but daily meeting was helping us. So how can we make it more enhanced, so that we can go more deeper?
Now, my dear friend, it's a very interesting, typical question. You are asking what kind of way, method, path that you should do. And you are still looking for somebody else to tell you. No. You will have to find out your own way. It is your journey. It is your search. You will have to make a search. Yes, you may go wrong. Sometimes you may fall. Get up. Start walking. Keep moving. Keep moving. Charaiveti, charaiveti. Buddha says, keep moving. Don't wait. Just chalte chalo. Just keep moving. But don't wait for somebody to tell you how to do and how not to do. No. If you get to know, if you happen to see such people, friends, whoever are into, that's wonderful. But otherwise, it's an individual journey from alone to alone. It is called a journey from alone to alone. From alone to alone. There is nobody with you. You are all by yourself in your path. So this very idea itself is a mind game to say what to do. I want to do this, I want to do meditation, but there's nobody around here. I couldn't find somebody there. He was not free, he was not busy, and so on. So what can I do? No, these are all mind's game. Doesn't matter. You are willing, you are ready, you are finding this urge, you are finding this love for the master, carry on. Just carry on. Don't worry about what will happen. Don't worry about the next moment. Worry about this moment, this very moment. This is the moment. To be here and now is all Osho's messages. What will happen tomorrow is not the concern. Is this moment for me ready for meditation, for growth, for my self-understanding? Yes, so go ahead. Carry on. But do not bring these excuses that what to do, people this, and where can I find man, where can I? No. If you find, perfect. If you don't find it, you have to take your own step. You have to take your own journey, and you have to make own challenges and face them. Not worrying about right or wrong, failure or success. That's not the issue. Path, following the path, going through the path of unawareness to awareness, unawareness to awareness is all that matters. And you will find out yourself that yes, your path is working or not working. You can be the only judge for that. Nobody else can judge it. Only you can judge it. That's my experience.
Thank you.
Next one, we'll unmute Swami Chanakya. 1 second. Yeah, you unmuted, Swami Chanakya.
Pranam Swamiji, thank you so much for sharing so much valuable information. I have two questions. One is like when I practice all these different kinds of meditations like dynamic, kundalini and all those things, I feel a lot of like energy and everything. But soon after I come into the reality, I kind of lost that track, and again I'll come back to my original state. It's getting better every time I do it, but I feel like it's not like with the same intense I'm expecting. Like when I do Kundalini, I just lost my whole self and like I just be in that peace. And once I come back after like half an hour or something, be like I'm just come back to the same nonsense I was been before, same judgment and same problems and everything is the same. So if did you face any similar situations like that? If you could share your experience on it. And I have another question also. I don't know how much it is helpful for other people, but it was always been in my heart. Like I know, I've read Osho's book so many times. I know he's just such an insightful person. A normal human being cannot, does not have that much courage to tell whatever he's feeling inside, and that much insight is just not possible. But always I had these questions like, how much such an insightful person trust a person like Sheila? That I just don't know, like how.
You are mixing up so many questions, sir, because you started with a wonderful question about the impact, the experience that happens with your going through meditative process. Let us keep to that. Okay, that I think is more crucial for my understanding. First thing is that Osho has made hundreds and hundreds of devices. You know, Osho has designed, according to one estimate, about 3,000 meditation techniques. Individually, he has given so many, you know, if you read Darshan diaries, the person is sitting in front of him and he is giving him, you know, his insight and also giving a meditation. Hundreds of meditations he has given. Why? So that you can choose the one that fits you, that you feel good about, that you enjoy, that is working for you. You don't have to run around and do thousands of different meditations and feel compare them or this, nothing like that. If dynamic is working for you, that's your meditation. Is Kundalini is working for you, that is your meditation. Just go deeper into it. That is first thing you must understand, that you don't have to just bubble around all different meditations. The one that works for you is your meditation. That's why he has given so many choices to us. First thing is. The second thing is that in this process, you have to be simply there in the moment. What will happen next day, tomorrow, day after is not your concern. Never be in the future or in the past. Just be in that moment. Enjoy that very moment. Mind wants to find out. Oh, this I've been doing meditation for last 8 days, and you know, my Kundalini is not rising. My third eye is not flying. This is not happening. This is all mind game. No, we don't want to go into that. No, my purpose is this technique that Osho has given me. This is the way to go about. I will go deep into it. I will be total into it. I will be honest about it, but I will not expect what will happen and how it will happen. That is not my concern. So my suggestion to you, Swamiji, is that you remain true to the path, to the technique that you have enjoyed or that you are able to enjoy, and keep that as your way. And go to, and sometimes you may not do well as you wanted to. So that's okay. Accept it. Accept that and move on. But don't get stuck to that. Oh, I've tried this and nothing is happening, so forget it. Mind will always give you the excuse to forget it. No. He says, doesn't matter. If it's not happened today, tomorrow, I will continue. I'll continue. I'll continue. How I do it, how I am taking this path for myself is more important than how it's going to happen tomorrow and day after. That is not the issue. This moment is the precious moment. I hope it helps you this.
Vivek, we have any time for other questions? We are already 15 minutes above the...
We are late. So Swamiji, do you have a few more minutes to take one to question, or we wrap it up now?
I would suggest that we wrap it up. It's almost 10:15 now.
Okay.
But unless somebody is crucial, that we can go ahead with it. Don't worry about it.
Okay, so we'll take one question in that case. The person that had raised hand is Kasha Sai. So that's the last question. We can unmute. I'm trying to unmute. You can unmute yourself, Kasha, if you can. Okay.
Is it? Am I audible now?
Yes.
You are, but we can't see you actually.
No.
Okay, go ahead with the question.
Yeah. Namaste. Namaste. You know, has Osho shared anything about on rebirth or any message on rebirth? Has he said anything about it? You know, that's my question.
Yes, oftentimes he has mentioned this. In fact, there are independent books, Jin Khoja Tin Paiya, I Am the Gate. There are books in which he has gone into detail on this particular. But he has given a scientific understanding of it. It is not just a question of believing in rebirth. He said that this whole universe is made of energy. We are an energy phenomenon. And energy
Okay.
is always continuous. It continues. It never stops. Yes, the body has a limitation, and the body comes to a certain end, the physical body. But the energetic body, energy inside us, the energetic body, it continues into next birth. Now, I'm not going to go into that how it works out, but it's a very big mystery how that particular energy transmigrates into different womb, how it goes into different birth, and how it can. But the energy continues until a point comes when, like Buddha, like Mahavir, like Osho himself, who have gone through certain practices, certain sadhana, by which they come to a point where not even energy wants to continue any further, not only just body, but even energy, it comes to what is called samadhan, samadhi. It comes to totality and total end samadhi. And that's where the end of it. Then there is no birth. For a Buddha or an enlightened master, there is no birth. But for us, our body ends, but the energy wants to continue. And in that continuation, we keep taking new birth, new forms of body, and continue and continue. That is the way I briefly what I have understood. But if you want to go ahead, you can read his books, and he has given in very detailed understanding of this wonderful experience.
In particular, any books, Swamiji, in particular?
The Jin Kojatin Paya in Hindi. I am the gate. There is an English book, I am the gate. And so in search of the miraculous. Yeah. See, there is a book in English, in search of the miraculous. Okay. And then there's a book called I am the gate. That will be a good help to you. In search of the miraculous.
So we run.
And the psychology of the esoteric, and a couple of more.
Psychology of esoteric, but from rebirth point of view, in search of the miraculous can be of some help to you. It's actually English translation by Swami Anand Maitre from Jin Khojat in Paya, English translation.
And would be possible to connect with you, Swamiji? I have few more things wanted to discuss in person. Can I have how to contact you?
Swami Vivek can give you my phone number, my email address. You can have my email address, and you can connect with me, or you can send me your WhatsApp. You can connect. You're more than welcome. Sure. More than welcome.
Thank you. Namaste.
So there's somebody that really wants to ask a question. Swamiji, if you're okay, that's the last question. That's from Swami Prem Gir. You're unmuted. Go ahead.
Swamiji, namaste.
Namaste. How are you? I've seen you second time. I've seen you before. How are you?
I'm very fine. Swamiji, how are you? I don't know. My heart is beating very fast. I don't know why.
Okay. Because you have such a loving heart. You have such a loving heart. That's why it is beating so hard. Thank you.
Thank you, Swamiji. Swamiji, my question is that why we don't accept ourselves however we are. We always have that overwhelming urge to be someone else, like a famous personality, a celebrity. We never accept ourselves however we are. If we are black, then we want it to be white in color and body shape, and we never love ourselves however we are. Why it is?
There are two things. One thing is that from the very childhood, we have grown up according to how people want to see us. We want to fit in people's image. Somebody says, oh, you are a very intelligent girl. Oh, you are a very cute girl. Oh, you are a very smart girl. And you feel good about it. So you always want to be accepted by people and keep you always praising you. We want to live according to how people want us to be. That is the first thing. The second thing is, and if you go into the whole subject of psychology, you will see there is something like ego. Our ego is always wanting appreciation, always wanting people to accept you, to feel you very high. That ego satisfaction. Ego is what is required, needs its satisfaction. But if you are comfortable with yourself, if you're okay with yourself, then you don't care about what other people feel, what they say, that doesn't matter. It is none of their business. Whatever I am, and I am aware of myself. that this is what I am. If I want to change, I will change. No, but not because you want me to be this way or that. Otherwise, I can go mad. I can go crazy if I keep on following people's expectations that you should be this way and not that way. I'll go crazy. No, 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 no. That is not the way to live. So you have to be the master of yourself. And that is why I'm saying you have to be the master of your mind. And this is the mind which is playing this game that you have to be according to this or according to that or this or that. That is not necessary because that is not going to lead you anywhere. So we have to drop that. We have to become more watchful. How I am. Am I okay? Am I living okay? Am I eating well? Am I walking well? Am I talking well? Am I aware of what is happening to me now? That all that matters, but not what people expect you to do that. Otherwise, you can never survive. So this is all I can say, sweetheart. Don't worry about what people say. You decide how you want to be and live it and enjoy that life. Okay?
Thank you, Swamiji.
So beautiful. What an evening in India that we've had today, and here in the US the morning. We have gone through so many feelings, and the feeling of love, connection with you, Swamiji, with obviously the master. And we learned so many things through your talk about how we can continue in our own journey. And that is the most important aspect of this discussion, is simply to learn and carry on with our own inner journey. So thank you so much for taking the time, Swamiji, and chatting with us. It's been such a blessing to have you. And Paritosh Swamiji, thank you for co-hosting that. And everyone that have joined, thank you so much for your time and your energy to create this virtual Buddha field. Thank you so much. Take care.
Please accept my gratitude to you and Swami Paritosh and all the viewers, listeners, those who question me. And let us now allow me to bow down at the feet of my beloved master, Osho. Thank you. Good night and good morning. Bye-bye. Take care.
I'm putting the WhatsApp number in the chat. If you are already part of the big WhatsApp groups, you will get the recording. But if you are not, you can always message me and I'll personally send you the recording. Thank you. Thank you, Swamiji. Good night to you.
Good night.
Yeah. Bye.
Good night, all. Thank you.
Good night.
A wonderful day to friends who are here. Yeah, I have put the name of the Osho's biography also that Swamiji was talking about in the chat. It's called The Luminous Rebel, the story of the maverick mystic.